Welcome everyone, it's Laura and Patrick back in the park.
3.
Here he comes. Today we're talking about intensity, levels of exercise intensity.
9, 10,
Patrick!
11, 12. Yes, Laura? 13,
Sorry to interrupt you.
14.
What are you doing over there?
I'm counting my steps. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Well, we were talking about intensity of exercise.
Right, good. I'm glad that you brought us to that place.
Okay.
Because if I was to say to you, and the common theme in the news and around is that we should walk for a certain number of steps, that doesn't take into account levels of intensity. It's great that we do so many steps from the settee to the fridge, from the settee to the shop, from the settee to town, and every time we go a little bit further, we're improving our stamina by going further.
Yeah.
But once we start to get, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me on this, Laura, once we start to get to a certain level of stamina, then we look at levels of intensity. So instead of walking a number of steps, we might start jogging or running or riding a bike up a hill. So what we got to do is, if we have a number of steps and I walk 10,000 steps and I'm done, what happens when I pick up a rucksack with weight in it? See, these are 2 kilograms here and 2 kilograms here, okay? Say if I pick that rucksack up and I walk 10,000 steps with this rucksack on, okay? And that's going to be more beneficial for me than if I walk without, right?
So by increasing the intensity, so we're not talking about doing necessarily more steps at a certain level, but by increasing the intensity, so either going faster or carrying some heavier weight, how is that going to benefit us?
Yes.
Well, what are we going to see as a benefit from that?
What happens with exercise of all kinds, whether it's strength training, stamina training, or flexibility, there's a level of intensity that you have to recognize with each one of them. And every time we adapt to a higher level of intensity, we get fitter and stronger and more functional. And the other thing I want to clear up about this is how exercise keeps getting lumped into losing weight. We exercise to improve our function. That's the primary focus of it. Not that it doesn't help us lose weight or maintain our weight, but one of the things keeps getting mixed up. If you get this idea as I've got to do this many steps in order to lose weight, that's not why I advocate exercise.
No.
The biggest reason I advocate exercise, strength training, stamina, and flexibility, is to improve our function. That's the main thing. And that's extremely important because basically, good diet, good amounts of sleep will help us to exercise at a higher level, which makes us higher functioning. And I'm working with people that are in their 70s, and I've been working with them for a long time, and even into their late 70s, they're improving their function all the time. We never discuss diet. We don't. It's only about working out at a higher level in order to increase their functional ability, which is really important to a lot of people.
And it does, I keep coming back to this saying that I often use, and we're not talking about diet today, but you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't out-train a bad diet. We're not going to focus on diet today. The reason why...
That's right. because like you say, Laura, because if I sit down and I eat a whole big large pizza from Pizza Hut, hey, I can't spend 8 hours exercising every day.
No.
I can't eat so much calories in one. I could sit down personally, and this is something I've really struggled with the most out of everything I've tried to quit and control in my life, is excessive calories. Because I know that I can sit down in 15 minutes and eat more calories than I could possibly burn in a day. And if you get in that equation, it becomes more and more and more like that. You start to then realize that there's no way, like you say, that's a great saying, I've never heard it before, you can't outrun a bad diet. Because we can go out and buy an enormous amount of calories for very little money and eat them in 15 minutes. And if you do that day after day, so literally, personally, I had to really stop and control my calories.
Completely. But let's focus on, let's say, what are some of the benefits of increasing our intensity? What are we going to see as good things that happen to us physiologically? What's going to happen to our bodies? Are we going to get stronger?
Yes. Well, okay. So say if I go along and I've got 2 kilos on this wrist and 2 kilos on this wrist. Okay. And say I'm walking along and I decide to mix the two, because we both like doing this.
Come on then, show us, Patrick. You got 10 seconds left.
1, 2, 3, 4, So what's going to be happening in my body? Well, because I'm using more muscles at a higher level of intensity, what starts to happen is your heart and lungs adapt to that level of intensity. Okay? And then what starts to happen is, of course, your functional ability improves. So in other words, a very great way to illustrate this, if I take these off, yeah, and I've got used to walking for 10,000 steps with these on, and I take them off and I start walking, that 10,000 steps is going to be dead easy now.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to be able to help people and Get Moving Whaddon as exercise professionals to make your everyday life easier.
Yes.
And the more stamina you have, the better chance of that happening is, right? The more strength you have, the better, and stretching. And look, for instance, we keep talking about stamina and strength, but we never talk about flexibility. If I've got to reach down and tie my shoe up, and that's my level of flexibility, what have I got to do?
Do you know what though? I think this brings us on to a fantastic point, Patrick. Next week, flexibility. We're going to talk you through it. We're going to guide you through some exercises, okay? So I hope you've got something from the intensity discussion today, but try and challenge yourself this week to do something different. If it's a walk, walk a little faster, as long as obviously the conditions allow, so it's not icy and slippy as it has been. Or maybe go a little further. Or
find a hill.
Yeah, find a hill to walk
If you
up.
walk uphill, it's much more intense than if you walk on the flat.
Absolutely.
And
okay.
these are the things, let me tell you something, my friends. These are the things that exercise professionals will teach because they know how fast people adapt past the first stage. Getting up off the settee and moving is 1, 2, 3 months worth. After that, we got to start thinking about progressions. And that's how we do. We always think about progressions. That's what really makes a difference to our health.
We do. Okay, so it's over and out from me and Patrick.
Over and out.
See you next time. Bye.